A football club can score every goal, win every match, and still get punished. Not by the referee, by accountants. This is the wild world of financial fair play, and why it's quietly reshaping football forever. Let's start with the problem it was built to solve. Imagine two football clubs. One has a billionaire owner willing to spend unlimited money, no questions asked. The other survives the old fashioned way: ticket sales, local sponsors, and whatever they can generate match day to match day. Without any rules in place, the Billionaires Club can simply buy every star player on the market. They win every trophy. And slowly, the competition around them dies because nobody else can compete on that budget. This isn't a hypothetical. It's exactly what started happening in European football a little over a decade ago, as wealthy owners and state backed investors began pouring money into clubs at a pace nobody had seen before. So European football's governing bodies stepped in and introduced financial fair play. The basic rule sounds simple: clubs can't spend significantly more than they earn. If a club brings in $100 million a year from tickets, sponsors, and TV deals, they can't turn around and spend 300 million on players, hoping it somehow works out in the end. Spend more than you earn for too long, and the punishments start rolling in. And these punishments are not small. Fines, sometimes running into the tens of millions. Transfer bans, freezing a club out of the market entirely during a window when rivals are strengthening. And in the most extreme cases, being kicked out of tournaments altogether, stripped of the chance to even compete for the trophies they're spending all that money chasing. Some of the biggest, most recognizable clubs in the world have been hit with these penalties. Not for cheating on the field, not for a bad tackle, or a missed offside call, for cheating on the books. But here's where the story gets genuinely interesting, and honestly, a little bit sneaky. Rich owners, faced with a rulebook standing between them and unlimited spending, didn't just accept the limits. They found ways around them. One classic trick: inflate a sponsorship deal with a company you happen to own or control indirectly. Suddenly, a club is earning tens of millions from a sponsor that conveniently traces back to the same ownership group. Money that isn't really external revenue at all. Another: sell a young academy player to a smaller club you also control for triple what he's actually worth, booking that inflated fee as pure profit on the books. None of this is technically illegal. It's creative accounting, operating in the gray areas the rules didn't quite anticipate. And for years, it worked, largely unchecked. So, did the rules actually fix the problem they set out to solve? Only partly. The rules were supposed to level the playing field between rich clubs and everyone else. Instead, in practice, they mostly protected the clubs who were already rich. Because once you're big, staying big within the rules is relatively easy. You already have the sponsorship deals, the global brand, the massive TV audience generating legitimate revenue. It's the ambitious, mid sized clubs trying to break into that top tier who get hurt the most because they don't have the years of built up revenue to justify big spending, even if they have a billionaire willing to fund the push. Here's the bigger lesson buried in all of this, and it genuinely isn't just about football. Whether you're running a football club with $100 million budget or running your own household with a modest paycheck, the underlying math is exactly the same. Spending more than you earn always catches up with you, eventually. There's no version of finance, personal or corporate, where that rule doesn't eventually apply. Football just happens to make the consequences painfully, publicly visible, splashed across headlines, discussed by pundits, debated by millions of fans. Your own financial mistakes rarely make the news, but they compound in exactly the same way. If this actually made football finance click for you, hit subscribe. I break down a new one of these every single day. And drop a comment. Which club do you think is closest to real trouble right now?